actually want to pull this up on my laptop. I have it out. Let's see here. I want to change the I have bot Ricks on here. What is that even? I don't know what it is. All right. Here's what's going on today. Wait, hold on. Have bot Ricks on here? What is that even? I don't know. What's going on today? Wait, hold on. I guess I'm just gonna keep it on here. Two watching. Alright. I was gonna do something. Yeah, I want to change that thumbnail. Because it's just my fucking oh my god, shut up. Shut up. I wanted to change the thumbnail. Babe, are you watching? Type in the chat. Running it up. Make me a thumbnail, please. Anyway, what we're gonna be doing today, I should probably center this a little bit because I'm off centered. Boom. It's still kind of off centered, whatever. Don't care. What we're doing today is we're gonna be reacting to. Oh my god. Hi, baby. Alright. I gotta find it again. Holy shit. That's the wrong one. Okay. We're going to be reacting to a video called The Minecraft Player Trapped in a Loop by Retro Gaming Now. I know nothing about this creator. I know nothing about what he does, if he makes more ARGs. But make sure you show him some love because, you know, he's going out of his way to do this. I also want to mention that I'm going to be making a video on the Wi-Fi's, that's his name? Yeah, the Wi-Fi's videos, the searching for a world and destroying a world that doesn't exist. I'll be making an analysis video on that soon. Stay tuned for that. Yeah. So yeah, I guess let's just get into it. Figure out what we're gonna do from there. So again, this video is called Minecraft Player Trapped in a Loop by Retro.
On January 7th, 2024, a strange video surfaced online. It's entitled Weird Minecraft Bugs, Bug Report Number 1. The clip was uploaded to a mysterious channel called The Decayed. At first, things appear normal. We're watching Minecraft gameplay of a user named SandyCarps8. He's on a multiplayer server with a friend named Cargo Ships. They discuss a recent adventure. Did you see when that spider dropped from the ceiling and almost killed me? Lol, yeah, that was pretty funny. We didn't really get too much stuff though. The players walk through the forest and reach their house, deciding that they need to go mining to get better equipment. In the basement, they drop off their wood in the storage room. Next, they head towards the mine. Cargo suggests going to Y=11 to strip mine, and the two work together to dig their tunnel deeper. After about a minute, their progress is halted when they tunnel into lava. Sandy suggests they come back later, and they return to the house. Then something odd happens. Sandy and Cargo suddenly find themselves back in the forest. Initially, it seems like the video is looped, but Sandy's chats indicate that he has noticed it too. What? Why am I back here? Cargo's response is rather odd. Lol, yeah, that was pretty funny. We didn't really get too much stuff,
that's
though.
Cool.
Cargo doesn't address Sandy at all. It's almost as if he's talking to someone that doesn't exist. And we realize that Cargo is repeating his messages from earlier in the video. Sandy asks if Cargo can hear him, but there's no reply. We watch as Cargo follows the same path from before, depositing his items in the chest and heading into the mine. All the while, he continues repeating the chat messages from earlier. The screen briefly goes black. Then we see Cargo mining near the bottom. This isn't funny, Cargo. You can stop now. Then a sudden cut.
L ads, bro. And this is a Gooner game ad. What the hell?
What? What happened to the mine entrance? Why is the music so weird? But things get even stranger when the video shifts perspectives to a different player. They have a dark skin and they're watching Sandy and Cargo from a hilltop. If we rewind the footage, we can see it in the second loop, observing from afar. This isn't the only difference between the two halves of the video. When Sandy and Cargo are teleported back to the forest, Sandy's hotbar changes. The stake and log swap places. Furthermore, the interior of the house is slightly different. There's no sign on the right-hand chest in the second loop. And if we look even closer, we'll find that Cargo's messages from the two loops don't align in time, even though the text is identical. We don't yet understand the reason for these discrepancies. In fact, we don't understand much at all. The video ends with a final static shot of the house, deepening the mysteries even further. This video was merely the entry point into the long and winding mystery of the Decade.
Oh! The Decade. What an intro. Alright, let's do a rundown of that intro. So, two guys playing a Minecraft server, and they're talking, and it appears that the main guy, Sandy, is in some sort of loop. Yeah, everything's just kind of weird. I guess we'll see where it goes.
The following day, another video was released, titled More Weird Stuff, Bug Report Number 2. It begins with what appears to be another loop.
So it's like
the players find themselves back in the forest.
Okay.
Now, Sandy has 3 experience levels instead of 2. As Cargo starts his dialogue once more, Sandy reacts with escalating confusion. This time, he doesn't follow Cargo, choosing instead to walk in the opposite direction. After a few moments, he encounters something strange, the edge of the world. Chunks are not loading here, there's nothing more than an empty void. This is similar to the end of the first video with the unloaded chunks near the mine entrance. It's almost as if Sandy's not supposed to be here. There's another detail that's easy to miss, a dark figure in the tree. While we can't quite make out their full name, it appears to end with an R. As Sandy returns to Cargo, the Minecraft music becomes increasingly distorted. Sandy descends into the mine, but it's different this time. Instead of a cave with lava, there's a long, empty tunnel. After following it for a while, Sandy discovers a narrow side tunnel without torches. The deeper he goes, the darker it gets, accompanied by a whooshing sound that crescendos. Then we're back to the start again for the 4th loop of the series. It is now nighttime. Cargo is nowhere to be seen, and his messages are conspicuously absent from the chat. The music is scrambled, clashing with a persistent wind noise. As Sandy returns to the house, we notice a staircase of blocks on top, perhaps built by the mysterious black figure who is now standing in a lilac bush. We can just barely make out their name. It's voyeur, a French noun meaning one who sees. Inside the house, Cargo's bed and chest are missing. The basement also has a slight difference. There's no sign on the bottom left chest. Intriguingly, this is the chest that Cargo last used. We saw him open it in the second loop. It seems that connections to Cargo are disappearing one by one. Returning to the mine, Sandy becomes increasingly distressed. Cargo, I'm going to save you, no matter what. At the bottom, a dark fog obscures the tunnel depths. As Sandy progresses, strange black blocks appear on the edges, their density increasing the deeper Sandy goes. Then, an eerie blue message appears. I haven't talked to him in days. He hasn't played Minecraft with me for so long. I hope everything is alright. Where is he? Where is he? Is this Sandy speaking? That doesn't quite make sense. To this point, all of Sandy's messages have been in the main chat. Instead, we're forced to consider the possibility that this is somehow Cargo. Is Sandy missing from his perspective also? This video ends with a shot of the house, just like the first video. This time, however, the door is open. Let's take a moment and attempt to untangle what's happening here. The videos so far contain a sequence of loops. They restart when Sandy is teleported back to the forest. However, each iteration is different. Sometimes there are minor changes, like a sign being removed. Other times, the changes are major, such as the tunnel in the mine or Cargo's disappearance. It appears that Sandy is supposed to follow a specific path in the loop. When he deviates too much, the chunks are not loaded. The first loop seems to go according to plan, with no anomalies. But each subsequent loop has one crucial difference. Sandy knows that he's in a loop. We don't understand why Sandy gains this awareness, or why Cargo apparently doesn't. But we do have to wonder, was the first video we saw truly the first time this happened? Or has this loop been repeating for a long time, with the story picking up just before Sandy breaks out of the cycle? It's intriguing that, once the loop breaks, the world begins to decay. Signs disappear, dark blocks are generated, and mysterious shadow figures arrive. Somehow, the stability of this place is damaged. Breaking the loop clearly has a significance that we don't fully understand. For now, we will continue to the third video, entitled Limbo. Before we dive in, let's take a brief look at the description. Signals. Something is not right. He reached sentience. This is not supposed to happen. This is not supposed to happen. What will I tell him? Is this talking about Sandy? Who exactly wrote this description? The video begins with the fifth loop. The world is daytime once again, but Cargo is still missing. The blocks on top of the house are also gone. On the main floor, there's a new painting on the wall. Sandy goes to the basement, and when he returns, the picture is changed. It's difficult to tell what it depicts. Maybe flowers? We quickly find the answer. As Sandy explores away from the house, he approaches a very similar cluster of lilacs overlooking the edge of the world. Comparing the two, we can see that this is the same place as the painting. It's almost as if it's telling Sandy where to go. Sandy looks over the edge and discovers something unexpected, invisible blocks in the void. He begins walking on them, moving into the white emptiness beyond. In the distance, a dark door becomes visible. Well, guess I don't have an option. Sandy opens it, revealing swirling clouds within. As Sandy approaches, the wind swells. Maybe this was the source of it the whole time. The player enters the doorway. Sandy teleports to a completely different place, a realm of dark purple blocks with distant clouds. When Sandy tries to chat, he gets an error message. Unauthorized access, chat function disabled due to lack of developer permissions. There's a similar warning at the top, this one instructing Sandy to restart their game. This new place has many hallways with entrances to other rooms, each labeled with a sign. Experiment, followed by a number. Sandy enters the room for experiment number 67801236. In the center of the room, there's a hole. Sandy jumps in.
Great news! Now your account has a level.
Okay.
He teleports back to his world, but from a different vantage point. Now he's standing above his house on invisible blocks. Below, we witness something bizarre. Sandy and Cargo are walking around, discussing their need to go mining. This isn't a recording of the first loop because the timing is different once again. Instead, this appears to be a different loop altogether. We have no idea why there's a copy of Sandy and why Cargo is back. Sandy
Interesting. Okay.
pushes a button in the sky and he's returned to the purple place. He goes to a different room, this one corresponding to experiment 892-30096. Jumping in the pit, he's warped to another version of his world. But this one's just a bit off. The usernames of the players are slightly different, SandyCarps26 instead of SandyCarps8. Cargo's name is also changed. Furthermore, the music has been transposed down a major second, increasing the uncanniness. The mine doesn't exist in this version, and the players talk about building a castle. Sandy comments in the chat. Also, castle? I remember building a castle. Where's the castle? Was it never there? Other experiments have much bigger changes than this one. Sandy returns to Limbo and warps to experiment 8389. Here, the sky is complex, infused with pulsing psychedelic patterns. The music is sweeping and full, unlike any Minecraft music we've heard before. And yet, the landscape appears to be similar in shape to the other worlds. There are once again 2 players below, Xiphoid and Serene Mist. This time, though, they notice Sandy. Who in the is this guy? He's just flying above our house? Sandy tries to respond, but again, he doesn't have permission to use the chat. The players decide to leave. Sandy returns to Limbo and approaches another experiment, 1919. This one is ominously labeled Unstable. He teleports to a dark, empty world with no players in sight. When he tries to leave, the button is unresponsive. Sandy is apparently trapped. Just before the video concludes, there's another message in chat from someone named Execo4, who says, "Uh-oh." The video ends with another static shot of the world.
Wow. Okay. All right. So, dude Sandy, let's just get like a general consensus of what's going on here. This dude Sandy, right? He is playing with his friend, and he goes and then he just randomly warps back to what happened in the past, right? He realizes then that he's in a loop. His friend Cargo is saying the same stuff that they were talking about before. So Sandy, in trying to figure out what's going on, how does he get to this shack? Oh, okay. Then in what we are calling loop 4, or loop 5, he comes up, he sees like a painting of flowers, and he's like, okay. He sees flowers, then he goes off the edge and he notices like this door. He goes through the door, and then it's so weird because like he realizes he's just an experiment. Interesting.
Come to think of it, what's the deal with each video ending with an image? The first video's image has the house. In the second, the door is open and the image is darker. Then the house is gone and the image is darker still. We don't really know what this means. The following video is called Meeting, and it starts back in the main world for the 6th loop. Somehow, Sandy managed to escape the unstable world. Sandy returns to the world edge and walks into the void, but this time the door is gone. He continues walking nonetheless, and suddenly finds himself back in Experiment 8389. He reaches the mainland after a few moments. Sandy approaches Xiphoid and Serene Mist's house. Now he's able to chat. The players are bewildered as Sandy explains that he just walked away from his house and ended up here. Notably, Xiphoid and Serene Mist don't remember Sandy, even though they saw him in the air during the last video. This is interesting. It suggests that perhaps these players are also in a loop. How else would they forget an unknown player flying in their world? Sandy asks if he can stay to explore, and the players let him. They generously give him diamonds. As he wanders, Sandy sees another dark figure in a lilac bush, this one named Sightseer. The skin is slightly different from Voyeur. Back in the house, Sandy opens a chest labeled Plants. Suddenly, there's a static sound and the screen goes black for a moment. When it returns, there's a slight difference. The 4 poppies in Sandy's inventory have been replaced with 4 lilac bushes. Then, out of nowhere, a message appears in chat from someone named Execo3. Sandy, you have to stop. You have achieved something you should not have achieved. Despite Sandy's confused responses, Execo3 continues. I got the signals from you. You are pushing the limits. As Sandy tries to interject, Execo3 mutes him, preventing his messages from sending. Then Exec continues. Why are you, out of everyone, acting like this? The fact you can even talk to me right now fathoms me. Sandy tries to ask about Cargo, but Exec responds. Your friend is not coming back, Sandy. He never even played with you. Then the chat shows that O3 is warped to Limbo. The video switches, and we are now viewing the world from their perspective. The skin is dark and the UI is different, with the number 3 above the hotbar. Execo 3 walks through limbo and approaches the door to the unstable dimension. They jump in. As they type, a pink cursor is visible, the same design as Sandy. "Are you sure this is safe?" Execo 3 uses a command called TP down, which takes them to the surface. There we find Execo 7 as well as another dark figure called Spectator. "I mean, just in case, you should lock the world. I don't want this to reach Sandy." Exec 3 says that Spectator seems to be working fine and asks how to lock the world. O7 replies with a command. The ID number is the same as the experiment number. O3 locks the world. Then he says something notable. "He somehow became a thinking mind, which is very interesting. His memories got wiped before we brought him to this world. That's very weird. Like I said, close the world just in case. This could trigger something in him if he joins." And then suddenly, we see a message saying that an unknown exec warped to this world. Could this be Sandy? The video concludes with another static image of a house. It is returned, but it's darker than ever.
In Albion, no matter where you go or what you do, your mount will accompany you on your journey. Perhaps you'll pick the Args.
Okay.
There's a lot to unpack in this video. First, we are introduced to a different group of people than the regular players.
Right.
These are the execs. They have special capabilities. They can use teleportation commands and mute other players. We also learn that they're associated with the dark watching figures, including Voyeur, Sightseer, and Spectator. While we still don't know the purpose of these dark figures, the way the execs talk implies that they're not players. It would be weird to say that a person seems to be working fine. Instead, there's some sort of automation or bot. What we do know is that these execs are trying to deal with Sandy. It's clear that Sandy is doing things he's not supposed to be able to do, accessing limbo and going to other players' worlds. Execo 3 says something interesting, that Sandy somehow became a thinking mind. While the deeper implications of that statement aren't yet revealed, it must be why the execs are concerned. But what about the experiments? What is the purpose of these loops, and what are the execs trying to do? We learn a bit more in the following video called Envoyer. This is French for sender. The description contains an enigmatic series of 16 numbers. This video is taken entirely from the perspective of Execo 9, who we haven't seen before. They're in some new place, dark like limbo but made of prismarine blocks. They approach a chest labeled 9 and retrieve a book from within. As they continue down the hallway, we see several numbered rooms. Apparently, these each correspond to an exec. We see Execo 2 in room 2. The player walks until they reach number 9. The block in the center appears to be a terminal. In fact, if we look at the lines as dots and dashes, it spells out decayed in Morse code. Exec 9 begins typing in chat. "He's been lurking again. He was spotted in the unstable dimension. He found out about the real house. He knows too much now." We can't see who Execo 9 is talking to. Their responses are invisible. Whoever it is, Execo 9 says that they may need to intervene. The execs aren't completely sure how to stop Sandy. This half of the conversation contains a little detail. O9 says that Sandy found out about something called the real house. Whatever this is, Execo 9 believes that it's too much knowledge for Sandy to have. This mystery about the real house is something we'll want to keep in mind as we continue. The following video is titled Réalité, which is French for, you guessed it, reality. We return to Sandy's perspective. They're back in the main world for the 7th loop. This time, Sandy types the teleport command to bring him to the unstable world. How Sandy knows this command is unclear. Did he use /help, or is there something else going on? Regardless, the command works. The console message reveals that it was, in fact, Sandy who teleported in the meeting video. He arrives at the bottom of the mine and climbs the stairs. Spectator is still there, but execs 3 and 7 are gone. He enters the house to find that the basement is totally different. Instead of humble storage chests, there's a door leading to a complex network of rooms. There's a kitchen area, several bathrooms, bedrooms, and a bar. In one room, Sandy stumbles across a red chest. Opening it reveals that it has a name, Stored Vessel Information. Inside are 4 written books, labeled June, July, August, and September. These are diaries written by someone named Matthew David. The first entry is on June 2nd, 2017, and there are a total of 17 entries over the 4 months. The early text starts out normally. Matthew writes about being busy studying for a math exam, which is getting in the way of Minecraft. We learn that Matthew is 17 years old. Then something weird. There's a sudden jump from June 4th, 2017 to June 7th, 2023, a 6-year leap into the future. But Matthew talks as if he's still in the past. He mentions stressing about being prepared for his test. Mysteriously, on June 21st, we go back in time to 2017. It's not clear if Matthew made a typo or if this journal has some weird nonlinearities. Regardless, the exam goes pretty well. Matthew says that he wants to play survival multiplayer with a friend named Andrew. They decide to start up a server.
Is that the
That's the end of
Sandy
June.
and
Sandy makes a
Fargo?
comment. This is way too familiar.
Yeah.
He then begins reading the July
it has
book.
to be.
Matthew starts by lamenting about how he's been sick for a couple of days. Then there's something intriguing. I did see a weird creature in my game today, though. Could just be me going crazy. Even though me and Andrew are big fans of creepypastas, we obviously know that those are fake and that stuff like Herobrine, Entity 404, and all that doesn't exist. On July 4th, Matthew mentions a persistent headache that's not improving. He also added a friend named Thomas to the Minecraft server. Now, 3 of them are playing together. Then Matthew shares more about the creature he saw. It kind of looked like a player, but it just doesn't make sense because we are hosting this on Hamachi, and I checked Hamachi a few minutes ago and there's no one other than us 3. Yet he still doubts what he saw. Actually, what am I even saying? No shot there's another player here. That had to be something else. Between pages 9 and 10, there appears to be some text cut out. We're currently working on an for all of us since we need to get some good enchants. On July 10th, Matthew mentions that Andrew and Thomas have an idea to build a town with a castle. Then there's an update on the illness.
Okay.
There's a little problem though. I'm not really improving in terms of my health. My head really hurts and my hands are constantly shaking. And if this keeps getting worse and worse, I'll probably have to take a little break from my computer. I don't know what's causing this exactly, but I'm afraid it might not be a flu anymore. It's been going on for way longer than it usually should. 1 week later, on July 17th, Matthew sees the player again. He seemed to have a white 03 on his head, while the rest of his skin is fully black. Matthew has seen an exec in his world. A black skin with a white number is their signature style. But this is the least of the issues. Things are getting worse for Matthew's health. Now, weird red spots are showing up on his skin. Matthew will be going to the doctor soon. In the meantime, he continues to play with his friends. My friends have no idea what it might be either, which worries me because they also started to become a bit sick. They're not in the same state as me, but they also have a small headache. Is this a coincidence, or is something going on? July 22nd. What? The doctors have no idea what this could be. I'm scared. My friends are saying they feel the same things I did 2 weeks ago. Apparently, a lot of teenagers across the world are somehow catching this disease or whatever the it is. I genuinely do not know what's happening. By this point, Matthew has been sick for over 3 weeks, and his vitality continues to decline. 4 days later, he says he barely has enough energy to play on the computer. After playing for a few minutes and working on a mob spawner farm, I saw him, the 03 guy. He was just standing there staring at me, and he wasn't moving at all. He sent no messages in chat, but I somehow felt him speaking to me, as if he was speaking to me telepathically. And that's when I connected the dots. This cannot be a creepypasta anymore. He has to know what's happening, and he did this to me. This might sound insane, but I think the disease is being spread among our group, and the fact he just stares at me like that, he knows. I immediately closed my game and shut the server down. I have to tell this to my friends. This cannot be a coincidence. Sandy opens the August book. Matthew can no longer feel his hands. He has problems breathing, and he has the constant urge to vomit. He says that soon he won't be able to get out of bed. Then something chilling. My parents are more worried than ever, but something inside of me tells me not to care about, not to talk to them, to not listen to them. But I want to, even though my body refuses to. Matthew's text is becoming riddled with errors, extra spaces, missing words, misplaced punctuation. He even fails to properly sign his name. His skin grows pale except for the red spots. His mother cries, fearing that Matthew is near death. As I'm writing this, I feel an indescribable feeling flowing through my body. A mixture of emptiness, sadness, pain, loneliness. Matthew's words grow even more disordered, bizarre, and incomprehensible. Beg farewell to shattered bones, bones that shape your interior, bones that make you who you are, bones like the water of a river flowing towards destiny. It's pulling me. It wants me to reach it. It wants me to get closer to it. I don't ever feel my interior emptiness anymore. I don't ever feel anything anymore. My keyboard is pulling me closer to my monitor. He's calling me, whoever he is. In a matter of seconds, you just may find yourself falling, twisting into the abyss, screaming, wishing it didn't end like this. But the inevitable things come and go as they choose, and in the end, you will always lose. So sit back and relax as death swoops you down. The final entry is from September 13th, 2017. And now forever I will make part of it, attempting to run from what I can't escape. I can never outrun it. The limbo I'll be stuck in is part of me now. 1 hour, 10 hours, 10 days, 10 years, 10 decades, 10 centuries, 10 billions of years. Forever, I am part of it. I am part of it now. I belong to it now. And it was decided like that from the beginning. These journals are deeply unsettling. We don't know who Matthew David is, whether he's a player we've already met or someone new. However, there are some similarities to Sandy's story, playing on a multiplayer server and encountering odd players in the world. Notably, Execo 3 is the same exec who talked to Sandy in the meeting video. But much more concerning is the fact that Matthew has some sort of disease. It starts as a headache but worsens over the course of about 10 weeks. Doctors can't diagnose what's happening, and the text suggests that this is afflicting other people as well. Matthew believes that this is connected to Execo 3. As time passes, Matthew's text becomes increasingly poetic, dark, and jumbled. He describes a deep emptiness inside of him and a feeling of being called towards his computer monitor. The final pages are extremely cryptic. It's unclear if Matthew is alive or dead. Sandy returns the books to the chest. He turns around to see Cargo standing in the room. Hey man, Cargo, how are you here?
What the hell?
I was looking for you. I don't think we should be here. Something about Cargo is off. His text is overly formal with punctuation and capitalization, a very different style from his earlier messages. Sandy instinctively knows that something is wrong. This can't be Cargo. Sandy begins to flee. Then Cargo continues. Sandy, come back. We can talk about this. As Sandy runs into the mine, we get one final message. You will regret this moment. You will always be the mistake known for ruining everything.
Wow.
Still staying up late, gaming solo?
Interesting. Okay. This is cool. This is really cool. I'm liking this so far. Oh, shit.
Someone with a reddish skin and no number above the hotbar. When they type, we learn that this is someone named Architect. The conversation is one-sided. However, the title of this video is Récepteur, French for receiver. Someone with a reddish skin and no number above the hotbar. When they type, we learn that this is someone named Architect. The conversation is one-sided. However, the title of this video is Récepteur, French for receiver.
No, I think I gotta turn down. I think I gotta turn down the video. The video's kind of loud. We'll do like 60. Let's hear that.
Could this be the other half of Execo? Could this be the other half of Execo?
Much better. I think I just gotta have my mic closer to me than it is. Yeah, like when I talk, I kind of have to get up a little bit to. Much better. Yeah, when I talk, I have to kind of talk into the mic. It's kind of annoying, but whatever.
9's conversation. Watching the videos together, the chat messages align, revealing the full discussion. We learn that the Architect is disappointed in the execs. To keep Sandy out, all they had to do was lock the world. Ultimately, Architect tells the execs to figure it out on their own. Apparently, there are 64 of them in total. Architect walks away from the terminal, leaving Execo 9 talking to the void. The description of this video contains text that's almost readable, like a Markov chain of disparate syllables. There are 16 lines, the same number found in the Envoyer description. It turns out that this is a code. By counting out the indicated position of a letter, we can find the first character. Repeating this for each line reveals the message, body lacking a soul.
Wait,
Although reading
I have to go all the way back.
both that could decide. The following video is from a new perspective, someone with a reddish skin and no number above the hotbar. When they type, we learn that this is someone named Architect. The conversation is one-sided. However, the title of this video is Recepteur, French for receiver. Could this be the other half of Exec09's conversation? Watching the videos together, the chat messages align, revealing the full discussion. We learn that the Architect is disappointed in the execs. To keep Sandy out, all they had to do was lock the world. Ultimately, Architect tells the execs to figure it out on their own. Apparently, there are 64 of them in total. Architect walks away from the terminal, leaving Exec09 talking to the void. The description of this video contains text that's almost readable, like a Markov chain of disparate syllables. There are 16 lines, the same number found in the Envoyer description. It turns out that this is a code. By counting out the indicated position of a letter, we can find the first character. Repeating this for each line reveals the message, body lacking a soul. Although this is enigmatic, there's a subtle connection to Matthew David's journals. As his disease progresses, he describes a feeling of becoming empty inside. There's another link as well. The name of the chest is Stored Vessel Information. A vessel is a hollow container, also empty inside. It's noteworthy that we've seen this concept a few times. The following video returns to Exec09's perspective, picking up right after their conversation with Architect. Another exec shows up. This time it's number 22. 9 says that the Architect wants all of the execs to work on the bugs relating to Sandy. They say that they need to shut down some of the worlds. Exec09 opens up the terminal and enters a numerical code, the same as the title of the book in their inventory. Access is granted. On the main menu, 9 selects the players option. This shows a list of dies, each representing a different player. When the cursor hovers over one, it reveals more information. Sandy's location is undefined and his capability is sentient. Xiphoid and Serene Mist are both in the 8389 world, and their capability is Thinking Mind. Finally, there are many other players who we haven't seen before, all of whom have their capability as Vessel. Vessel. There's another connection to that word. Most players on this list are vessels, marked with the gray icon, contrasting with the 3 colored players. This suggests a progression in capabilities from Vessel to Thinking Mind to Sentient. So how did Sandy progress from Vessel to Thinking Mind? The description offers a few clues. Exec03 found a critical flaw in the system of the universe of the Decayed. Somehow, vessels, when stimulated in some weird way, have the capability of escaping their supposed trajectories and finding oddities that they were not supposed to find, such as the map being unfinished in certain areas, invisible platforms that allow teleportation between worlds, and a lot more. In other words, we don't know for sure, and it seems like the execs don't know either. The description continues. Do you know how Sandy managed to gain consciousness? No, I really don't. Definitely a flaw in the system. I make sure to wipe everyone's memories before they enter this universe, and I'm not quite sure what escaped their hands. But now, we see that Sandy isn't just a thinking mind. He's been elevated to sentience. In fact, it seems that the execs were afraid of this happening. In the meeting video, Exec03 mentions that Sandy has become a thinking mind. They don't want him in the unstable world because it might trigger something within him. However, Sandy does teleport there. In Exec09's discussion with the Architect, we learn that Sandy found out about the real house and now knows too much. Then, in this video, we see that Sandy is sentient. We now understand that the real house refers to the house in the unstable world. When Sandy found it, something promoted him from thinking mind to sentient. Could it be the journals? It's been mentioned a few times that Sandy's memory has been wiped. Perhaps reading Matthew's story somehow reminded him of the past.
I'm assuming he's sentient. He's considered sentient because... Why do I keep saying that? He's considered sentient because he found Matthew David's... or Matthew Davis's... Was it Matthew David? I don't know. MD found his journal entries, which is really interesting. So he knows a lot about what's going on. Not enough. Like, we definitely know more than Sandy does. It's interesting though. The two players that Sandy found, They become thinking minds because of what happened because they spotted Sandy?
Specific details are still a
Interesting.
mystery. The core point, however, is that Sandy has steadily progressed along the chain from vessel to thinking mind to sentient. And now, other players are on that path as well. Zyphoid and Serene Mist are thinking minds. They've escaped their supposed trajectories, breaking free of the loop. And it seems that this happens when Sandy has a conversation with them.
Yeah.
Sandy is spreading the ability to think to others. All of this represents a problem for the execs who are trying to get the players under control. Back in the video, exec09 right-clicks on the 3 players' icons, reporting them to the architect. Then 9 goes back to the main menu and selects Worlds, then World Management. The top block is the 1919 world, the unstable one with the real house. The exec changes the join permission from admin to none. They perform an attempted teleportation to confirm the world has been locked. In the back, exec 13 appears and asks if 09 turned off access to the real house world. 9 confirms that they did. Then they return to the terminal and choose a different option, global cameras. We see a list of lilac items. Hovering over one shows that this represents Sightseer, currently in Zyphoid's world. And suddenly, we understand the purpose of these dark figures. They're cameras into the experiments. The execs can see the camera feed from the terminal. As 09 starts watching, we see Serene Mist come up and look at Sightseer. They stare for an uncomfortably long time. The audio is quite weird, and fans of my other ARG videos knows that this means it's time to look at it in a spectrogram. This tool allows us to see frequencies in sounds. The x-axis represents time, and the y-axis is frequency. The higher the sound's pitch, the higher it is on the chart. For example, an ascending major scale would appear as a series of steps going upwards. Looking at the camera audio, we discover a secret message hidden within. Ying in my bed, unable to move. I can't get up. I can't even blink. Everything hurt. The words feel similar to the text in Matthew David's journal, although this specific quote is nowhere to be found. Could these be the words of Serene Mist instead? Exec09 leaves the camera and encounters Exec05. He asks what they're supposed to be doing, and 9 says that they're investigating Sandy. When he hears that, 05 says that he's gotta go and runs off. The chat shows that he's warped to the unstable world.
Okay. Wow. Okay. Wow. So there is some type of disease going on. We know that from the journals. Some type of disease going on that happened with MD. And it appears so far that people get this disease when they spot the cameras or when they spot an exec. Very interesting. Very interesting. And and Sandy hasn't. Or he hasn't really looked at them. Like, he hasn't stared at them like the one player did. I forget his name. But Sandy didn't he hasn't looked at a camera or hasn't looked at an exec. It's very interesting. It's very interesting. I have to go use the bathroom real quick, so I will be right back. one thing I want to say while I was in the bathroom, I was thinking there's a lot of talk about Execo 3. It seems like Execo 3 is kind of some type of he's kind of like a whistleblower, maybe. I don't know if that's the right word I'm using, but he makes a lot of mistakes. I don't know if that makes any sense. Like, he shouldn't have been in MD's world, but he was. I don't.
9 returns to the terminal to find that the teleportation permissions have reset. Apparently, Execo 5 just changed it back. Confused, 9 talks to Exec 35, who says that locking the real house world doesn't work for them either. Then 9 follows 5 to the unstable world. They run to the house and enter the basement, but things are beginning to change. Blocks are replaced with solid colors, some rooms completely consumed. 9 descends into the big tunnel and then the narrow one. He finds Execo 5 taking Matthew David's diaries out of the chest, destroying them in a lava pit. When he sees that 9 is there, 05 punches him and flees back into the tunnels. After a few moments, the chat shows that 5 is warped to an unrecognized map. The video cuts to a white world with a table. Execo 5 walks up and looks around. This must be the unrecognized map. We don't know why, but apparently 05 is concerned that the other execs are investigating Sandy. There is one more clue that I need to mention. The description contains a question. Where is cargo? The response is a jumbled mess of letters. These are encoded using a scheme known as Base 64. Upon decryption, we can find the answer to cargo's whereabouts. He is gone, forever, never to be seen again, nothing more than a memory. The next video is entitled Disposal, and it returns to Sandy's perspective. He finds himself falling down a long shaft before landing on a tree. His friends are nowhere to be seen. Sandy explores this new place. The layout is large and confusing, with many rooms and barred windows. There are several paintings scattered throughout. A lilac, a landscape, a white world, limbo. One is particularly notable. It has a painting of the real house, and if we look carefully, the layout of the room itself is similar to the house's interior. This includes the stairs to the basement, but this version overlooks the void. As Sandy continues to wander, it becomes apparent that this place couldn't actually exist. The space doesn't operate logically. This is perhaps most noticeable when Sandy enters a hallway that contains a jukebox. Sandy takes the stairs and loops around, ending up at the jukebox again. But that shouldn't be possible. Where's the entrance that Sandy used? This looping path is what's known as non-Euclidean. Normal geometric rules about space and distance don't apply here. Suddenly, the jukebox begins playing a song, Ward by C418. Sandy returns and punches it, causing the block to disappear. This action changes the configuration of the room again. Instead of ascending stairs to the right, there are now descending stairs going into a long tunnel. Sandy follows it and ends up under the tree in the main courtyard. He turns around. When he looks back, the tunnel is gone. Sandy goes to the redstone lamps and switches the first off and the third on. As he wanders more, he ends up on the other side of the wall. But something's wrong. The lights are incorrect. The pattern doesn't match what it should on the other end. Did someone flip the switches? Sandy walks towards the edge of the world and this video ends. The following video picks up right here. Sandy continues to meander until he finds a lever labeled Emergency Switch. As he contemplates what to do, we hear footsteps in the background. Sandy quickly pulls the lever and the world cuts to black. Suddenly, Sandy is in the unrecognized map. We see Execo 5 with the table in the distance, and we learn something interesting. I see you have found the emergency switch. I have a lot to tell you, Andrew. Sandy's real name is Andrew, the same Andrew mentioned in Matthew's journal. Furthermore, Execo 5 reveals that his name is Thomas, another player from the SMP. This leaves just one remaining player, Matthew, who must be Cargo. The journal we read belonged to Cargo, who was the first to contract this mysterious disease. Execo 5, or Thomas, gives us the most complete explanation so far. A few years ago, there was some weird sickness that appeared. It infected Matthew, Cargo, and Andrew, Sandy. Thomas says that people who are afflicted by the illness are called vessels. These vessels are forced to play the same few minutes over and over. Sandy, Cargo, Serene Mist, Xiphoid, all of them fall into this category. Vessels aren't actually the people with the sickness. Instead, they're kind of like ghosts who control the lifeless bodies, their consciousness scattered across different worlds. Loops and vessels all exist in a multiverse called the Concept. Execs are the ones who manage it, and Thomas was hired as one. The execs work for the Architect, who is the creator of the worlds in the Concept. The execs watch the experiments. If a vessel gains consciousness, they put a camera in the world to monitor it. This is why Andrew, or Sandy, saw Voyeur in his world. His growing consciousness triggered the execs to intervene. When Exec 09 saw that Andrew was sentient, he alerted the Architect, who teleported Andrew to the disposal. This is a place where vessels who have become sentient are sent to be removed. However, Thomas anticipated this and opened the door to the emergency switch, allowing Andrew to escape. Despite this explanation, some questions remain unanswered. What is the connection between a physical human and a vessel in Minecraft? Does the consciousness of the person somehow get trapped within the game? Matthew's journal seems to hint at this. He says something is pulling him, calling him, and then later says that he's a part of it now, whatever it is. In some bizarre way, the end result of the physical illness might mean getting sucked into the Concept. The role of the execs is somewhat unclear. They focus on preventing vessels from becoming sentient, but the reason for this isn't obvious. Why is it better for vessels to be trapped in their looping worlds? It's also a bit strange that the Architect constructed the worlds in which the vessels are trapped. Thomas says that a symptom of the sickness is being forced to replay the same few minutes over and over again. But how could this happen without the Architect creating the worlds for the vessels to loop? Could the illness even exist without the Concept? And this raises a crucial question. If the Architect designed the looping worlds, did he also create the disease? Where would vessels go if there was no Concept? It's also worth mentioning that each world in the multiverse is labeled as experiment. That feels a little bit more like these vessels were created intentionally. Right now, we don't have a great answer to these questions. Thomas's story feels incomplete, like we aren't being told everything. Regardless, Thomas continues, telling Andrew what he needs to do. If you want Matthew back, you need to go back to your loop. I will enable Matthew to possess Voyeur. Voyeur will be out of order and replaced with Matthew's vessel. From there on out, it's you. You know how to get out. You know how to get to the limbo. That's the key place you can go to get out. You might need to find Architect. He might seem intimidating at first, but he's really not. If you could talk to him, you might be able to escape. He's the one who put you in this situation, so he can take you out of it. It's strange that Thomas suggests that Matthew and Andrew might need to talk to the Architect, since the Architect is upset that Andrew is sentient. However, Andrew says that he trusts Thomas. He pushes a button and he is teleported to the main world. Everything seems to be back to normal. Cargo's chest and bed have returned, and the basement is back in its original state. Andrew sees Voyeur on the hill and approaches him. The possession has apparently worked. Voyeur now speaks as Matthew. He says that he knows Andrew and that he remembers the house. Andrew tells him that the dark figures he saw in his journal were real, and that they're the reason for all of this. Andrew has been trapped in a loop without realizing it. But in the following video, things take a turn. It's called A Message to You. It's from Architect, and it's addressed to us, the viewers of this channel. Hello, this is Architect speaking. I'm sure you know who I am, viewer. I seriously discourage you from further watching the content on this YouTube channel.
Why was it created?
Alright, that's it, I guess. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video. Have a great day. Nah, just kidding. Let's continue. Everything you have seen so far is a mere act of fiction. I don't know who is in charge of uploading all of these videos, but I am unable to remove the content from it. This is not what the Concept is about. These videos are fabricated, and their only intention is to make you believe them, to make it look like I'm the bad person here. Keep that in mind if you do want to continue watching. Do not believe anything posted here. Farewell. This message forces us to consider something we hadn't really thought about. Who is uploading these videos anyways? Let's poke around the channel itself to look for clues. The profile picture is a collage of a few images put together, one of which is Exec05 and his world. But there are other things too, such as a tree and a lilac bush. Portions of the image have inverted colors. We can fix this using the power of editing. Nonetheless, we can't quite understand everything in this image. Another place to look is the channel description, which contains a poem of sorts.
That looks like the what's it called? The place that he went, like the disposal. Yeah, that's what it's called. The
Nonetheless, we can't quite understand everything in this image. Another place to look is the channel description, which contains a poem of sorts. Doing and doing and doing without a reason, without a consciousness, without a change, without an end. Is there ever a day we will see the end of the tunnel? Or will we just remain, watching life walk right past us? In one sense, this poem is probably referring to vessels, the players who are trapped and forced to replay their world again and again.
Is Matthew?
But if we take a step back, it feels like this poem
this?
could be a commentary on life itself. We repeat our routines over and over, endlessly going through the motions, doing and doing and doing. And in this process, there are things missing, without reason, without consciousness, without change, without an end. These without suggest that there's a void within us. The unending monotony of routine leads to emptiness inside. The poem concludes with a powerful question. Will we ever be able to escape this loop? Can we fill the void by being conscious, by thinking and reasoning, by changing? Or will we continue doing and doing and doing forever, watching as life passes us by? This poem is thought-provoking, and it opens the door to an idea that maybe there's a deeper symbolism within this series. Do these vessels somehow represent us, trapped within our own loops? If this interpretation is correct, then who are the execs who manage the loops? When Matthew escapes and becomes sentient, the execs try to put him back. They would prefer it if he was looping forever. Who wouldn't want us thinking for ourselves? Despite these new possible interpretations, we still haven't quite found who is uploading the content on this channel. However, previous descriptions do seem to suggest that whoever it may be is active in the world and is able to affect it. He somehow found his way out of his world. I have to talk to him. But the uploader also talks to us, the viewer. In the description of the message video, we find a simple command. Keep watching. So, that's what we'll do. The next video continues with Matthew and Andrew, showing Matthew's perspective as voyeur. The two are in limbo and Andrew leads them to the 8389 world. Sandy tells Cargo to use the TP down command, though it's again unclear how Sandy knows about this. On the surface, they meet up with Serene Mist. She says that she doesn't know where Zyphoid is. Andrew asks if Serene is aware of the execs, but she says that she isn't. Although Andrew tries to explain the situation, Serene doesn't understand. Nonetheless, she does agree to go with them to Limbo. They tower up to the button and press it to warp. Upon arrival, the players realize that Matthew now has his old username Cargo Ships, not Voyeur. His skin is apparently half him and half Voyeur, although this is not visible from the first-person perspective. Andrew brings the group to the unstable world and they teleport. The real house is even further decayed, with colored blocks spreading to the exterior. They notice a spectator camera watching them, but there's nothing the players can do about it. Inside, the basement is missing furniture and lights. They descend into the tunnel, heading to the chest room. But the diaries are missing, destroyed by Thomas. Andrew reacts with confusion. They decide to head back up to the surface. But when the group reaches the basement, Thomas is there. He says he's here to report on the world status, but it's an excuse to meet up with the other players. Thomas admits to burning the diaries, but doesn't explain why. Instead, he tells the group that they need to return to Limbo. There's something for you if you jump into the void. You'll appear in a different place, but it's odd. No, it's simply a back door Arg added in case you fell down. He then says something unusual. Once the players get back, they'll be able to see the diaries for themselves. Thomas teleports the group to Limbo once again. They approach the edge of the void. As they debate who should jump first, someone punches Matthew, and he falls. The following video is entitled Abgrund, which is German for abyss. The description includes a few German words. A quick Google search reveals that this is an excerpt from a poem by Wilhelm Busch, a 19th century poet. It is entitled Impending Doom. Let's read a translation. The flies are having a fun, airy dance. The frog thinks, cheer up, you'll come down soon enough. The poem is quite foreboding. So too is Abgrund. It's extremely dark. We'll notice that Matthew's cursor has changed to a star symbol. The players wander around this place for a few minutes, encountering arches and dilapidated structures. After a while, Matthew talks for the first time. We've been walking for so long, this place freaks me out. Andrew attempts to reassure him. Don't worry, we'll find it eventually. He wouldn't just send us here to die. The players find another building and enter it. Matthew sees a doorway. He decides to go through it. There is something very strange on the other end, his house suspended in a dark void. The next video is called Loss of Control, and it returns to the world of the architect. Now we can see that there's a red side and a blue side. There's a group of 7 players sitting around a table. The blue side has founder, creator, shaper, and instigator, and the red side has author, inventor, and originator. Architect shows up late to the red side and is promptly called out by originator. You took your time. The purpose of this meeting is to discuss issues in Architect's worlds. Creator says that the anomalies were located in his quadrant. Architect says that he's fully aware and is taking care of it, but author and founder disagree. You don't seem to be as aware as we'd hope. Founder then says that they've received signals from the Abyss. The vessel you call Sandy Carp's 8 along with cargo ships in Serene Mist. All 3 were caught by one of our execs, the Outcast. Architect dismisses their concerns. The Abyss is a barren wasteland. There's nothing they can do. But Instigator says that Architect is wrong, mentioning that recent data shows that Sandy has been separated. Now he's in a place called Grinzen. This is German for borders. Creator says this means they're getting closer. What do you think happens when they reach the last layer? Then Author turns up the heat on Architect. If you don't send your workers to capture them, then well, I'm sure you can figure that last part out. Don't make us have to interfere is what I'm trying to say. Architect says he'll get them and leaves. This sequence is really interesting for a few reasons. First, we learn that Architect works with people besides just the execs. He's not an all-powerful being. Instead, he has to answer for his failures. And it seems like he's actually pretty bad at his job. During the conversations, it's repeatedly shown that he doesn't really understand the situation very well. The others seem to think that it's a much bigger deal than he does. We also learn that there are both red and blue people here, and they're presumably on the same team. However, their roles and purpose remain unclear. We now know that the place Andrew ended up is called Grinzen. We see it firsthand as the video continues, now back to Andrew's perspective. He's in the house, the exterior is pitch black. Andrew enters the basement. When he comes back up, he notices that there is now a castle in the distance. Andrew explores it for a while. On the outside edge, there's a trapdoor with a ladder leading down into the blackness. As Andrew descends, he cries out, "Where is it? Thomas, I thought you were helping me. Thomas." Then the video ends. In the following episode, we switch to the perspective of Serene and Matthew, who have been waiting for Andrew's return. In the distance, a figure approaches. Their name is Exec 111, and they have white skin with black numbers. 111 says that he doesn't work with them. Abgrund, as you can probably tell, imitates the bottom of the ocean. The Abyss is a layered network. It's beneath the entirety of the concept. Then an astute observation. You've probably been through a bunch of dialogue already. I'm sure you're quite tired of it. That we have, Exec 111, and that we are. But we're not done yet. 111 says that Andrew probably went to Grinzen, which is the next layer of the network. It can be accessed in a multitude of ways. However, the path your friend took is incredibly risky. There is a safer route. By going to the flat area in the distance, they can reach a main location. They'll know because there are a bunch of towers scattered around. The players leave on their journey. The following video is called Grinzen. It picks up with the duo seemingly close to their destination. In the distance, they spot several dark towers. Each player explores one, but both come up empty. They then head to a much larger central tower. Inside is a hole. They debate if they should jump in and decide that it's the only path. They do a countdown and take the leap. The screen goes to black. And, well, that's it. At least for now, this series is still ongoing. I think The Decade is unique and high quality, and I'm excited to see where it goes. Normally at this point in the video, I do a deeper analysis, but instead I will wait for more episodes to release. Hopefully I'll make an update once the series progresses more. If you enjoyed this video, subscribe. It lets me know to make more content similar to this. And if you would like to support me further, join as a Deep Diver channel member. The link is below the video.
Okay. So... Alright. That was That was something, man. That was cool. I like that. Okay. It's not done. We have another part to watch. Um so let's break it down here. Because I mean it looks like this is an actual channel and this isn't something that retro gaming made. This is a channel, like an actual ARG channel that he's just analyzing himself. Um yeah. Yeah. If you look down here, like we're gonna watch part 2. But he does react and analyze the Wi-Fi's video. Um so okay, interesting. Try to think of how to go about this, right? In words. Um so we have a lot of characters to cover, right? We have so far seen perspectives from 4 people. So Sandy and Cargo, they're in a world, and then they're hanging out, whatever, and then it cuts, and then it goes back to what they were doing, like in the past, like few minutes. And it seems like Sandy, from the perspective that we're watching, realizes this, and he's like, what the hell is going on? And Cargo is still saying, like, and Cargo is still saying stuff like, what's what's going on? I'm like, this is weird, shit keeps like looping or whatever, and it seems like Cargo just doesn't notice it. Cargo is like still saying, like, they're typing in chat in the loop, and he's still just saying what he said in the loop without like even acknowledging what Sandy's saying. This makes, at this point, it makes Andrew, who we later learn is Sandy, this makes Andrew a thinking mind, right? Then he discovers what's it called? What do they call it? The Abyss? Something like that. The Abyss or something. He discovers that world, and then he goes in there, he discovers things, and at this point we still don't know what's going on. We later learn from Thomas, who is another person, basically what's going on. We learn from the diaries too. So the diary is from Matthew, who is also Cargo's perspective. There is a disease going on. Matthew's the first one to get to the disease, and the disease is spreading. The disease is just absolutely spreading. So this guy, Architect, he makes these worlds, and these worlds have loops in them. It'll loop them back, and these people that are in the loops are called vessels. They become thinking minds whenever they're like, what the fuck is going on? Like, we just looped. So God only knows how long Matthew and Andrew were looping for until Andrew actually notices, okay, yeah, this is a loop, like, what's going on? God only knows. So he creates he creates execs, and there seems to be other like looping world or concepts, what they're called. There seems to be other concepts and other worlds and they have their own kind of executive, like their own kind of architects. So it's more of a group of people that came together and said, okay, we're going to create concepts. For what reason, we don't know just yet. Oh yeah, and then yeah, Serene missed. We haven't seen a lot of her. She was just in one of the experiments. I don't know who she could be in terms of what was in the diaries, because the diaries only stated 3 people: Thomas, Andrew, and Matthew. Matthew being the author. um yeah, I mean, I guess we can just jump right into it. I had another point. Yeah, in terms of story, it's very interesting. It's definitely a refresher from the Wi-Fi's ARG. It's very, very interesting, and it's more of like kind of like sci-fi. I don't know if that's the right word to describe it, but it's definitely sci-fi, and it's really cool. Um, I guess we'll just jump right back into it. Um, so yeah, once again, this is the Minecraft player still trapped in a loop, The Decayed Part 2 by Retro Gaming Now. Yeah, let's just jump into it.
From is it possible to anything is possible. From we'll see
A couple of months ago, I stumbled across a rather odd channel on YouTube called The Decayed. It initially seemed like a regular Minecraft channel, but the more I watched, the more odd and unexplainable things happened. I soon found myself deep within a rabbit hole, and I decided to make a video about what I found. But since then, a lot has changed, and it's time for an update. So let's dive back in and continue the fascinating story of The Decayed. You will want to watch the first video if you haven't yet, but I'll do my best to keep everyone in the loop as we continue. When we left off last time, Matthew and Serene had just jumped into a mysterious hole in Abgrund, unsure of what they would find. The following video is entitled Exec Footage Confrontation. This video takes place from Exec05's perspective. Recall that this is Thomas, one of Matthew's friends from the SMP. Thomas is in his personal world, but he soon teleports to Limbo using a command. When he
Limbo,
arrives,
that's what it's
he
called.
stumbles across Architect, who was previously sent here to handle the anomalies in his quadrant. The conversation between the two quickly turns combative.
Well, I already know what you've been up to.
Shut up, you know this place is sick. Even she wouldn't control to the extent that you do. We don't know who this mysterious she character is. Perhaps it's the same she that called the meeting to keep Architect accountable. Whoever she is, the mention of her makes Architect extremely upset.
You don't have to bring her into the conversation. Listen, if you try that again, I will end you.
But Thomas has had enough of working for Architect, and his anger boils over. They're my friends, Ark. You locked my friends into this twisted place, you and the other keepers.
I understand that, though you signed everything that was handed to you.
Thomas fires back and then jumps off the edge of Limbo. We've just learned the name of the people that Architect works with. They're called Keepers. These are the red and blue figures from the Loss of Control video, the ones that sent Architect here to deal with Andrew. In fact, the description of this video is a transcript of one of their conversations. The Keepers discuss Architect's continued incompetence. Has he done anything even remotely productive since we last checked up on him? From what I recall, no. He seems to only be doing this because we talked to him. That is quite embarrassing, honestly. I don't think she'd take kindly to that. The context clues seem to suggest that the woman is the leader of the Keepers. We'll have to keep an eye out for her moving forward. The penultimate video of The Decayed is called One of Those Days. This video is...
It's just one of those
let's just take a
days.
look. As the footage begins, we'll notice that it's set somewhere we have not seen before, a rainy street. The sky is dull and gray, and there is no background music. Later, we will see that this street is next to a Walmart with a parking lot behind. A pair
is
of
like
Minecraft
real
players
life
walk up to the bench and sit
Footage,
down.
but it's
The players'
depicted in
names are
Minecraft.
Andrew and Matthew. But this is actually really strange, because these are their actual names, not their usernames, Sandy Carps and Cargo Ships. Their skins are different too. They look realistic, unlike the skins we've seen thus far. Matthew and Andrew begin to have a conversation with one another. School is so tiring sometimes, and to think that we are just a few months from going to college, it kinda creeps me out. Same. The characters talk as they would in real life. They don't mention Minecraft a single time. It isn't long until the conversation moves in a more contemplative direction.
The rain is messing with my eyes. It's kinda relaxing to just stare into nothing. It makes me think, actually, like, what purpose do we even have? What goal are we supposed to achieve? And why is it just taken from you when you die? It's really cruel.
But Andrew responds with a positive outlook.
It's worth it. Like, even if nothing matters, even if nothing would change if I'd never even existed, at least I get to live. At least I get to meet people like you. At least I can have friends or people who understand me, who acknowledge how truly this world is. And the fact that we might never meet again after school ends, it makes me really sad.
Then Andrew says something impactful.
Never once did I think to leave you behind, Matthew.
Matthew responds.
We have our ups and downs, and that's fine, honestly.
Then Andrew needs to go. The video finishes with him saying that he wants to see Matthew again soon. In some ways, this video is the most difficult one to interpret that we've seen so far. Let's try and understand what we've seen.
Right.
First, let's figure out the timing. It appears that neither Matthew nor Andrew have contracted the disease. Their conversations are lucid and normal. This suggests that the video occurs before the events in Matthew's journal. The players have yet to start their SMP at this point. This naturally leads us to ask how this video even exists at all. It's almost as if we're seeing a real-life conversation, but through the lens of a Minecraft world. It's an interesting inversion. To this point, the disease has taken real-life people and put them into Minecraft. But here, Minecraft has come to the real world instead. The topic of the conversation is notable. The two friends wrestle with the purpose of existence, the classic question of the meaning of life. This quandary has been referenced previously. Recall that the channel description contains a poem exploring some of the same ideas.
Yeah, trapped in a loop.
Doing and doing without a reason, without a consciousness, without a change, without an end. Is there ever a day we will see the end of the tunnel, or will we just remain, watching life walk right past us?
But now the poem has changed. There are additional lines
Oh my god.
that didn't previously exist.
Feeling the wind hit our face, letting the rain
I have a thought, but I'm gonna save it.
pour all over us, like the grains of sand we are, placed by destiny, where we will forever stay, like a flower that never bloomed. MD.
And we discover that this poem is written by Matthew. This poem has many of the same ideas that he mentions in his conversation with Andrew, a struggle with the perceived meaningless of existence. What's interesting here is that Matthew will be forced to confront these questions head-on, as he will be the first of the friend group to fully succumb to the disease, becoming trapped in a loop. Matthew will be the one who is doing and doing and doing without consciousness. On the flip side, Andrew will also get trapped, but he'll find a way to become sentient and escape it. We still don't know how he did this, but perhaps his positive outlook on life had something to do with it. There is one further detail to mention. One of the signs has an arrow pointing to Navidson High School. This name is noteworthy for its connection to the book House of Leaves by Mark Z. Danielewski. The work follows a fictional documentary entitled The Navidson Record. The book's format is complex and difficult, and while I haven't read enough of it to interpret the connection, I felt it was worth mentioning nonetheless.
I haven't watched it either. I've definitely been recommended House of Leaves, though. Where's my cursor?
The following video is called Les Fleurs, which is French for The Flowers. This is the final video of The Decade. It opens with a rapid sequence of 7 distorted shots, a real-life photograph of purple flowers, an image from the previous video, Execo 5's White World, the courtyard from the disposal, an experiment door in Limbo, the real house, and a physical journal. The reason for this specific sequence of images is unclear. The footage then switches to the perspective of Matthew. Now it is his turn to enter Grinzen. Andrew is nowhere to be seen, and neither is Serene Mist, even though they both entered the pit simultaneously. Grinzen is similar to what we've seen so far, except that there are even more structures from the player's SMP. For example, Thomas's house is present.
Just like I remember it.
We then jump to Thomas's perspective. Since he jumped off of Limbo, he is now in Abgrund. Exec 111 is there and asks what's happening. Thomas has a dour response.
Everything is going downhill.
Thomas enters a door in a cave and he sees the table and chairs from his world. The background is completely black, the signature aesthetic of Grinzen. Interestingly, every player that ends up here sees something slightly different. Andrew, Thomas, and Matthew are apparently in different places. This is made clear when Thomas turns around and breaks the black blocks of the wall, revealing a marble pathway. And we find that Grinzen is not one singular space. Instead, there are multiple possible rooms, each encompassing a pitch-black area. Matthew is currently in one of these rooms. The perspective shifts back to him, and he sees Thomas break in.
Matthew, hurry up. We gotta go right now.
Matthew responds with confusion.
WTF? You just broke the void. Yes, that's all an illusion. We have to get out of here now.
Matthew is worried about Serene Mist, who is probably in her own Grinzen room. Thomas says that they have to leave her behind for now. The two players jump off the platform. The video switches to the perspective of Andrew. He is no longer in Grinzen. Instead, he roams a large field of flowers. It is nighttime, and the sky is adorned with a blocky aurora. Andrew wanders around until he finds a lone tree, standing in stark contrast to the flat landscape beyond. After a few moments, Thomas and Matthew appear, and for the first time in the series, the entire group has been reunited. All the players from the SMP are here, together in this field of flowers. But their time to catch up is cut short with the sudden arrival of Architect.
Taking some time off, aren't you? Anomalies, frauds, they're synonymous, really.
For the first time, Architect has come face to face with Andrew, the anomaly he's been trying and failing to control.
Assuming you're the higher up here, what makes you think that what you're doing is okay?
What makes you believe that you can question my decisions? I mean, Sandy, you're the first of the anomalies. You've been through it all, haven't you?
Andrew responds with an accusatory question.
Don't you think it's a little bit unfair that you get to decide what happens to us for the rest of our lives? Maybe you aren't even the one in charge. You act as a puppet in the grand scheme of things. You don't let us fulfill our own destiny. Do you really think that you're a god?
That's enough. Being one of the keepers, it is my duty to contain you all here.
However, Thomas has worked directly under Architect, and he knows what we've all seen. Architect is the one who is truly the fraud.
And what if the keepers see you as weak? From what I can tell, all you've done is sit back and watch as everything unfolds.
Thomas, don't you dare. The keepers, they respect me. I respect them. My intentions are clear. I wish to contain the vessels within their respective worlds. I asked you this earlier, didn't I? You, being an exec, it's your job to listen to my orders.
But Thomas begins to taunt Ark, asking if it was bothersome when he disobeyed the orders so shamelessly.
It's pathetic. All these questions about what do I gain from this? What do you gain from this? You've gone all this way only to disobey me, to disobey her.
There's another reference to the mysterious female character, the same one Ark said not to bring up. Thomas promptly calls him out for this. Then Andrew interjects.
Tell me, how powerful are you really? Are you truly the powerful being you make yourself out to be? Or is it a facade?
Sandy.
You don't even dare use my real name. Are you this afraid of me? Do you know that I've gained a large amount of control?
Back off.
Or were you too afraid so you ignored it? You are weak.
Something strange has just happened. When we return, we are now viewing the world from Matthew's perspective. Architect is gone. The players react with confusion. Andrew asks Thomas about the back door, the reason they came down here. But Thomas admits that he doesn't know if it really exists. This was just a blind guess. The players are trapped here. The one positive is that without Architect to lead them, the execs are no longer a threat to the players. Then Matthew begins to stare
Wait,
at
is
the
the
moon.
Architect dead?
The players cease talking as if in a trance. After a few moments, they continue.
Is that just me? I know what you're talking about. I feel it too. She's coming.
A figure has appeared by the tree. She begins to talk.
I must say, it is quite unexpected to see you here. My name is Jacinthe. I am the caretaker. Having visitors is not something you see every day.
Thomas responds.
I never thought this would happen.
Thomas, dear, I do not show myself. You know that, yes?
Jacinthe says that she is the caretaker. This must be the character referenced by Architect, the one who called the meeting of the keepers. Having worked for Architect, Thomas knows who she is. He asks why she's here.
Well, a vessel eliminating a keeper. Fascinating, isn't it?
It is, but like how? Isn't that impossible?
Not necessarily. Andrew may be powerful, but this is new. My vision has always been to maintain peace within the concept.
Jacinth is the creator of the concept, not architect. We soon learn more.
My intentions were never to cause harm. That you can blame on the Keepers. Though creating such an extravagant multiverse, it can be difficult to keep a proper structure. It's a shame it had to end up like this.
And for the first time, we discover the true purpose of the concept's multiverse. It was not intended to serve as a prison, but rather a safe haven, a place to put the infected in order to keep their spirit alive. These experiments are not supposed to be traps, they're supposed to be safe houses.
Your assumptions are accurate. Though the impossibility of my vision is something I never considered. Your actions provoked something in me. That impossibility has been acknowledged. The very idea behind it all, it is beautifully dissonant. Each flower you see around us is a representation of the vessels within this very multiverse. After having cared for them for so long, it is not something I can let go of. This tree you see before me, it is what gives life to these vessels. Or, in simpler words, this tree represents the entirety of the concept, branching in all sorts of ways, the root of everything.
However, Andrew has actually been a vessel in the concept, and he responds, asking why Jacinth can't just let them go. But Jacinth doesn't know.
It is beyond me, caring for the vessels, the residents, anyone within the regions of this place.
Andrew continues.
There has to be a way. We can't just stay here forever. It's like hell.
I'm sorry, Andrew. Unfortunately, there is no way to free the vessels.
Then a proposition from Andrew.
Is there a way to destroy the concept?
What? What are you implying?
If we can't be freed, then I'd rather let everyone's souls rest. This is not our destiny. This is not what we all deserve.
Jacinth doesn't answer.
I cannot continue this. It breaks my heart seeing your distress. I will leave you here. I wish you the best.
But before she leaves, Matthew calls to Jacinth once more.
Jacinth, wait. I'm sorry.
Don't be. It is only fair. I will leave you to it.
Jacinth is gone. The players discuss what to do next. Andrew says that he has an idea.
A sacrifice. Don't you dare, Andrew. It's the only way, letting the vessels rest. This is what she would have wanted, truth be told. She's too attached and is unable to let go, though.
Matthew pleads with Andrew, but he is unswayed.
Andrew, it's not worth it. It is. Letting everyone be locked in this prison of endless torment. As I said, it's torture. This is the best option, guys. It was a great ride.
Andrew continues despite Matthew's objection.
I know it hurts, but think about what I'm truly doing. No loop will ever have to play again. No exec will ever be in the hands of a higher-up. And while we aren't free anymore, nor will we ever be in any possible world, at least we once were.
Thomas accepts Andrew's decision.
We'll miss you, Andrew. I'll miss you guys too. Though not the best way to go, this will be my goodbye. I hope to see you again soon.
The screen cuts to black. When we return, the camera is now in a third-person view. Andrew is gone, and apparently so is the tree. This leaves only Matthew and Thomas, who walk through the flowers. They talk about how nice this place is. But this peace is only temporary. We watch the sky become pale as the concept begins to collapse. The players start to run. A whooshing sound accompanies the increasingly foggy world.
Wow.
It brightens and brightens, and then... maybe things just have to come to an end sometimes. Nearly paramount to growth, despite the loss. Everyone has a destiny. Some find it sooner than others, some later on. Though some may try to force their version of your destiny upon you, in the end it is only your own that prevails. Things are tough in this world. Nobody ever wants to lose someone close to them. We've seen it countless times. It ends up okay. At least, that's what we hope. When your fate is sealed, eventually you have to accept it. It might be difficult at first, but you will have to. I'm sorry, we all are, but it's reality. You may hope to see each other again, maybe one day. But for now, it's goodbye. This is the end of The Decade. And, well, there's a lot of stuff to talk about. So let's dive right in.
Alright.
We'll begin with
it.
an overview of the story. I'll use this little icon here to indicate the original video of the footage that is on screen. That way, it will be easy for you to go back and see the evidence that I'm discussing if you wish.
He might
The
be
core
just doing my
element
job
of the
right now.
Decade is a mysterious illness that appeared in 2017. This disease is especially prevalent among teenagers. When infected, the victim suffers increasingly brutal physical afflictions, red spots on their skin, extreme fatigue, nausea. Yet these issues pale in comparison to the mental deterioration that also occurs. An infected person becomes decreasingly capable of coherent thought, replaced with the mysterious urge to abandon reality and enter the void of Minecraft. Eventually, an infected person succumbs completely and their consciousness is somehow transferred into Minecraft itself. When this happens, the player enters an experiment within a multiverse called the Concept. Here, the player is forced to replay the same few minutes of gameplay over and over forever. The Concept is created by someone named Jacinthe. She is the boss of several keepers, each of whom is responsible for several experiments. These keepers are split into a red side and a blue side. The mixture of the colors makes purple, the color of Jacinthe. Architect is a red keeper, and he watches over Matthew's world. Every keeper has a team of execs working for them. These execs run the experiments, attempting to ensure stability. Each experiment can be accessed from Limbo, a purple location that serves as a hub. We learned from the final video that the experiments are not intended to be traps. Rather, their purpose is to protect the souls that have been infected by the disease. The souls inhabit vessels. The endless loops provide a safe haven, ensuring that the people are not completely lost. However, this protection comes at a cost. Vessels are not free to think for themselves. While safe, they are unable to escape their infinite loops. They are trapped. This all changes when Andrew becomes aware that he is in a loop. This allows him to observe the loop from the outside, watching as Matthew continues his repetitions. But Andrew was clearly not supposed to do this. The world around him quickly begins to decay, with the loop unable to continue as expected. This includes the disappearance of Matthew's vessel. Andrew's ability to think leads him to find other players in other loops, including Zyphoid and Serene Mist. His arrival breaks their loop as well, and they join him on the adventure. Andrew spreads his sentience to others. But all of this represents a problem for the Keepers. They want vessels to remain safely in their associated experiments. The execs realize that Andrew is becoming sentient, and they attempt to prevent this from happening, locking worlds and spying on him using cameras. They eventually send him to Disposal, a place intended to isolate him from the experiments. However, one exec is different. Exec 05 is Thomas, and he knew Andrew and Matthew before the disease hit. Thomas saves Andrew from the Disposal and gives him instructions on how to free Matthew from his loop. Guided by Thomas, the players jump off the edge of Limbo and land in Abgrund, the Abyss. This place is extremely dark. They wander for a while until they find a mysterious door, which Andrew enters. This takes him to a place called Grinzen. Here, Andrew sees structures from his Minecraft server appear. His house, a castle, and so on. Back in Abgrund, Serene and Matthew meet Exec 111, a previous employee of Architect. He sends the players to a place where they can more safely enter Grinzen. Serene and Matthew eventually find this place, and they jump into a pit to teleport. It is revealed that Grinzen contains many different rooms. Each person seems to end up in their own. Matthew's Grinzen room is similar to Andrew's, but not exactly the same. Thomas breaks into Matthew's room, and they jump off the edge to escape, leaving Serene Mist behind. Matthew, Andrew, and Thomas all end up in a place called the Garden. Each of the flowers here represents a vessel somewhere within the multiverse, and the tree in the center provides life to them. Architect appears, but he is destroyed when Andrew questions his power. The players then meet Jacinthe, the caretaker of the Concept. She explains how her vision of peace for the vessels has proved to be impossible. Andrew decides to sacrifice himself in order to destroy the Concept and let the souls of the infected rest. The decade ends as we watch the Concept begin to disintegrate.
Albion Online is a sandbox.
Okay.
Now that we've seen the whole series, we can think more about how to interpret it. Let's talk more about the Concept. Each experiment is a looping world, containing a brief snapshot of a specific window of time. It seems as though these snapshots evolve and morph into new versions. At one point, we see the same characters in a different experiment. However, this situation is inherently unstable. Vessels have a tendency to break out of their loops and begin to think for themselves. While Andrew gets the furthest, it is unlikely that he is the first to ever do this. The execs have a lot of infrastructure in place to handle this situation, including cameras in the experiments and disposal, a place to put sentient vessels. But Andrew is different because the execs struggle to control him once he gains sentience. The reason for this is that he has Thomas as an exec helping him on the inside. The Keepers become increasingly concerned by Andrew's uncanny ability to escape their clutches, but Architect proves incapable of slowing him down. As Andrew grows increasingly sentient, he realizes that being trapped in a loop is torture, the same idea he discusses in his poem. In his mind, the vessels in the experiment are not actually free at all. Their infinite looping is a fate worse than death. This motivates him to destroy the concept and let the souls rest. He sacrifices himself in the process. We don't really know how this works or why a sacrifice is necessary to destroy the concept, and I think the deeper implications of what Andrew has done are not quite clear. Vessels are capable of becoming sentient. Why is it better to kill them before they even have that opportunity? It's also worth noting Andrew's final line in the One of Those Days video. It is here that Andrew tells Matthew that he never once thought to leave him behind. And yet, this is exactly what Andrew ultimately does. He leaves his friends behind. Unfortunately, we don't know what happens to Thomas and Matthew. Let's step back for a moment and ask a question that I touched upon in my last video.
Where's
How are we
Zyphoid?
even watching the events of the Decade? Who is uploading videos to this channel? We can look to the descriptions for clues. The uploader is unlikely to be Matthew or Andrew, as descriptions contain quotations of them. It's probably not Jacinth either, as she's referenced in the third person. Sometimes, descriptions talk to the viewer directly, such as a message to use command to keep watching. As this conflicts with Architect's words in the video itself, we can say that Architect is not the uploader either. Some descriptions have quotations taken from conversations either by execs or keepers, where they discuss the current situation with Andrew. This indicates that the uploader has access to internal keeper discussions, but they've also somehow acquired gameplay recordings of the vessels, something that even the execs don't have, as evidenced by their need for cameras. Then there's the issue of the video that seems to take place in real life. To be honest, I'm not sure if there's any character we've seen that would have access to all of this information. The channel's owner appears to be an unresolved mystery. There are some smaller details that I find odd. In the Limbo video, why does the painting in the house change to the purple flowers, seemingly guiding Andrew to the edge of the world? In the next video, why are
Thomas? It's so clearly, obviously Thomas. Thomas has been there the whole time. Thomas has been trying to get Andrew and Matthew out of the loop, and he successfully does so with Andrew.
Purple flowers placed into Andrew's inventory? Surely these two events are somehow related. Who is doing this? Well, one option is that it's Jacinth. In fact, her name is actually a type of purple flower, known more commonly as hyacinth in English. She is the one who created the garden, with flowers representing vessels. Things get more interesting when we look at the mythology surrounding this flower. There's a Greek myth involving the sun god Apollo and a beautiful young man named Hyacinthus. The two were very close to one another, and this made the wind god Zephyrus jealous. When Apollo threw a discus, Zephyrus blew it off course and caused it to strike and kill Hyacinthus. Apollo was devastated. Rather than let Hyacinthus go to the underworld to meet Hades, Apollo transformed him into a flower, allowing his beauty to remain on Earth. This is actually very similar to what the Jacinth character does in The Decade. Each flower in the garden represents a soul trapped in the concept. Jacinth has preserved them, but at a cost. The souls are not free to die and move on to the afterlife. Speaking of which, references to death and the afterlife are a recurring motif within the series. Thomas describes vessels as ghosts, and Andrew says that these looping experiments are like hell. Furthermore, Limbo is a reference to the first circle of hell as described in Dante's Inferno. This place has virtuous non-Christians and the unbaptized. Dante describes the location as a shadowy meadow. It is calm and peaceful, but the souls are forever blocked from the presence of God. Something that I don't quite understand is the purpose of Grinzin. Why is there a place that has buildings from the vessel's original worlds? These buildings are typically from a future point in time than the loops. We do know that buildings can hold some type of special power. Andrew's path towards sentience is accelerated when he finds the real house. It's so important that it's shown at the end of several videos. Despite this, I've yet to find a cohesive explanation that ties all this together. Speaking of the real house, it's still not totally clear why Thomas would destroy Matthew's diaries. The best
Yeah.
theory I have is that he's trying to protect himself by ensuring that Architect can't discover that Thomas is personally connected to the anomalies. I also wonder about the fake Cargo, or Matthew, in the reality video. Is he being controlled by Architect, or is it somebody else? Interestingly, we do see a name tag in the distance earlier in the video. Overall, it feels like I'm circling around a cohesive interpretation for this series, but I'm not quite there. And that's why I need your help. Let me know in the comments what you thought of the Decayed. What does it mean? How do all of these puzzle pieces fit together?
Did he make another video explaining this? This Minecraft puzzle, stuck in experiments. This is remastered.
I don't think we should be here.
I want to see what this one's about. Unless it's like just higher quality.
In the opposite direction. After a few moments, he encounters something strange, the edge of the world.
Oh, this is just the full thing.
Synth character does in the Decayed. Each flower in the...
Okay. Alright. Let's get into some stuff here. Alright. Because, okay, the Decayed is an actual channel. Hold on. Let me switch these back around. The Decayed is an actual YouTube channel, and this is... Yeah. Okay, so this is an actual YouTube channel, and Retro Gaming's whole purpose, I guess, for the videos that he had created is to kind of like, I guess, lore hunt and try and figure out what the fuck's going on. He does very good at explaining what's going on. I would like to. I don't want to critique Retro Gaming because he's just a viewer of this ARG. And I really want to get into story and how I enjoyed the story. It's definitely no world that doesn't exist. In terms of characters, I think the characters are written very well. I think I really do feel like the concept of the story is to convey a deeper meaning. How, you know, we're all trapped in a loop, you know, we all have routines and we closely follow those routines. Make sure my thing's still running. Okay. We closely follow those routines and everything. I don't know, it was really good. The concept is really nice. I feel like what really turned me off to it was the ending. It kind of ended too quick. And there's a lot that we don't know, which can lead us to have our gears turning a little bit. I might make a theory video on what I think is going on here, but I don't know. I feel like because of how short the series is, I feel like it's too short to like actually make an analysis video of, you know, how much I liked it, right? Because unlike the World That Doesn't Exist video, we don't get answers. Like, if there's certain loose ends that aren't tied. I want to actually go back to Retro Gaming's
Apollo threw a disc in.
video. And see what people are saying about this. Yeah, I think this is interesting too. This is an interesting point. He says Zyphoid and Serene Mist are honestly just fucking bros that chill and give materials. Serene Mist and Zyphoid are two characters that are very interesting. They have really no purpose for being there. And I feel like, I mean, let's really think for a minute, because if we really sit here and think, I feel like the whole existence is the stream lagging? Because it's lagging on my end. Okay. The whole purpose of those two characters, I feel like, let me look on my